This is Daryl.
And this is John.
And this is the Town of Orphan Characters, where we roll up a new character each week, talk about metaphysical and fantasy physics and implications of that character, and put them into our new town. Let's see what we're going to roll up this week. John, we have a new patron. Sarah?
We do.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. No. Super nice that we have a new patron, and it is Sarah Sexton.
Yay.
You are amazing.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. And she is needing to have an occupation. She is a adoptive adventurer. So she was an adventurer. She also has a role in our town. So let's go ahead and roll D100, John, and let's give her a nice little job when she's coming in.
Okay. Let's see here. There's my 10 and my other one. We got to do it right. So let me grab the
Yep, gotta get the box.
Yep. $47.
A knight.
Sarah the Knight.
Which I'm throwing out here is funny because I know Sarah from the SCA, and she does do heavy fighting, so that fits really well.
Nice.
And I figured, since she's an adoptive adventurer, that not only is she a knight by profession and trade, but if D&D Beyond would like to load up the characters, she is also a cleric by adventuring class. So she's a holy knight.
Oh, sweet.
So thank you, Sarah, for the support, and we look forward to you coming in and helping the town out.
It really means a lot, Sarah. Thank you.
Yes, it really does. Last week, we made Jenny Frost.
Jenny Frost, the sorcerer, right?
Yes, the sorcerer, the human sorcerer of a noble background. And I feel like she's going to settle into the town pretty well. She's coming in to set up order and legitimize the town, as we said. Maybe Sarah's actually in her group.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming in and setting up order and making the city guard.
Oh, I like that. I like that idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think things are going smoothly. There's probably some little bit of espionage and like manipulations between a few of the characters going on, and they're setting up plans and roads and things like that. But all in all, I think the town's doing pretty well, and everybody's, getting on, as we would say in the South. So, and I think Jenny would establish like there's now going to be like a city guard barracks, kind of like an outpost,
right?
Which will slowly be bigger, and she's heading that. She has like an addition to it, probably stone or wooden. At this point, I would say that there's probably no like defenses on the village. There's probably like a fence around the outside, but not really. Every time somebody joins in, they add another. Like they have to open the fence up, put the plot in, and
yeah. When you build your first barracks in like Age of Empires or any other real-time strategy game, that's kind of what's going on. You got your little wood guys gathering wood, and then you build the barracks. And
by wood guys, we mean Jaruk and
Nevin.
Yeah, and Glenn.
Nevin. They're all out there gathering wood.
Going out there. So, if you don't know, what we normally do is we will start with race, and we go through genders for that. But we also have some new whimsy ideas, and we might try those today also. Now, these are additional character influences, so when we get to that part of the character, we'll roll them up.
Yeah, and it may change from time to time, but we're just going to kind of try it out tonight, see what happens. Daryl has found a tool. What's it called?
The site is called springhole.net.
Sweet.
Which is just a random writing prompt generator.
I love it. So we can add that at any point, and I think eventually we'll develop a table of our own. But tonight it's just like the idea was, how can we just kind of up the sort of silliness factor when we feel like it? You know what I mean? Maybe there might be some times we're not in the mood, but we can try it tonight. Or just, if not upping the silliness factor, either maybe allowing us to change something or to inject some extra detail somewhere. One of the ideas I had was like randomly re-rolling an attribute, which I think really the idea of what I wanted was, we have those moments with like the character class and the background that can kind of make or break the character. I wanted to add more make or break to the formula is really what I was going for. So
what basically you're saying that we don't have enough complications in making these characters work. We need to throw more monkey wrenches into our own spokes.
Exactly. At least every now and then.
Which I am all for that, and we'll see how this goes. If you enjoy this idea, maybe we'll make a place for you to submit, maybe through the Patreon accounts. If you're any tier patron, you can give suggestions on things to add to our table and whatnot like that. So today we're going to start with our races, and we have 30 in all. John, with your clickety-clack box, please roll a d10 and a d20.
You got it. If I set my d10 down somewhere. There it goes.
Oh goodness, don't do that, man. Those things hide.
I rolled 0 on the 10 dice. Is what, 100?
On the 10, it would be the 10.
It's 20. I'm just going to add them together.
Okay.
Sorry, I had a brain fart.
So you rolled...
I rolled a 10 and a 10.
Wow, okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. I thought so. Kobold.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, this is fun. We have, I feel like, a village of misfits. No longer is it just adventurers, but goblinoid and quote-unquote monstrous creatures, which really throws a monkey wrench for my idea for a Halloween episode where we roll up a party of monsters to like go in the world, but it is what it is.
Hey, let's not spoil it now, but I have some ideas on that.
Ooh, wonderful. For those of you who don't know, kobolds are timid little draconic characters that are small. They lack strength, but they're very dexterous. They get dark vision, grovel, cower, and beg. Grovel, cower, and beg, which is one skill unit, and pack tactics and sunlight sensitivity. So he doesn't really like the sun, which honestly... So here's my thing with Underdark races and D&D. Most of the time they're designed as if they're going to live their entire life down in the dark. But if this character has been up in the light for a while, then there's probably, like, I would make it so that this character, just off the bat, it's only when they're in actual sunlight, like direct sunlight, without any kind of covering or anything like that on their eyes, that they're suffering from disadvantage as a player character. Simply because it sounds like this character has probably been above ground for a while. But that's up to you and your DM.
Yeah, I think it's a thing you could talk. Like, honestly, if I were a DM that was running a game where I was like, everyone's going to play a monster race or species, we're not going to have any humans. We're not going to have any elves, no dwarves, no typical fantasy. It is orcs and etc. Like, I'm looking at the list of characters we have, and like most of them fit into that category.
Yeah. Yes. Somehow we've managed to do that.
Yeah. So I think I would allow things like that. Either that, or I'd be like, your party just adventures at night. If there were enough
which
people,
would be fine
yeah.
too. Hmm. I mean, and that's something that we can talk about as we roll this character up on its personality and what like that is how exactly it functions throughout the days and stuff like that. Here's an interesting tidbit for those of you at home keeping track. Kobolds reach the adult age at 6 years old, but
Okay.
can live up to 120 years, but rarely do so in the wild because they tend to die by adventurers.
Isn't that sad? Like,
yeah. But with your help, and only $1 per day, we could save a kobold's life and then play the sad music.
Yeah. In the arms of an angel.
Angel.
We're not gonna. Well, let's just stop that right there. Sorry.
Yeah, let's move along to the gender and gender expression.
Okay.
Biological sex and gender expression, I should say, which is a simple 2 dice process, a d6, a d10 for born as biologically and presents as to the gender. And John, do you have a preference today? Are you feeling more like gender or born?
I think I did born last time. All right, so I'll do presentation this time, if that's cool with you.
Okay, so you're doing the D10?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready when you are.
Bits here.
All right, you first.
I have male.
Male.
4.
And androgynous. I rolled a 4.
Huh. Which, so we talk about this a lot throughout the series because a lot of our monsters are, oddly enough, androgynous, agender, or transitioned, depending on the race it is. But for the most part, we've rolled androgynous and agendered for races that are hard to tell the difference between male and female. So with kobolds, I feel like it's very like, I don't think I've ever seen representation of female kobolds so much. And I'm just looking through here really quickly to see if there's, we actually have a name generator for them, which is awesome. But yeah, there's not really a representation. They're lizard folk, they're draconic. So they wouldn't necessarily have the same biological structures as, humans or mammalian characters. So I think it works very well that this character is androgynous.
Yeah, I mean it does. In some ways, that might be an easy out, but it's totally fine. Like, play it how you want. I mean, if you wanted to get really into it and be like, okay, this character is androgynous to other kobolds, then you have to think of like how would that appear? Like maybe in your world, male kobolds have larger horns than females, and females don't, or maybe they have certain skin patterns or something like that. So you could be like, it's a skin pattern that other kobolds couldn't even tell.
Yeah.
It's like a mixture between the two, or it's just like not specific enough for at a glance for a kobold to tell. Or you could even go to like scent with like a beast race. Scent is indistinguishable to other kobolds as male or female.
That's actually a very interesting idea when going through it, that maybe. So really quickly, it does look like females lay eggs. and they mature like after 2 or 3 months before it hatches. So again, they are very much still reptilian.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so definitely like the scent is a very interesting idea to play with. Coloration, feathers,
size.
Yeah, most kobolds actually do have a slightly draconic look to them, like small little like baby dragon lizard people. So the horns are a good giveaway. Maybe most of the time they're presented as red. Maybe they have a coloration of a metallic dragon, which would be very interesting.
Yeah. I want to throw this out there too. Like some species, like frogs or whatever, have like they go through different life cycles. And so maybe there's a life cycle, like a prepubescent life cycle where they have more of an androgynous appearance before they actually mature fully. So you could also say this is an immature character or a character that never did, like, mature,
get their adult teeth,
get their adult horns, or get their adult skin patterns, or get their, whatever. For whatever reason, I'm thinking of like analogs would be like Ruth from the Dragon Riders of Pern, the white dragon that's smaller and stunted,
Yeah.
But it's a male dragon, or like animals in the animal kingdom, where birds, there are certain birds or certain fish or whatever that can either pass as female to sneak in. When they're smaller and they're younger, they sneak in as female and mate, and then they become they mature, and then they get all big and male, turn into bulls, basically.
I know the fish you're talking about. Yeah.
So there's lots of ways you could play with that. Yeah, I would look to the animal kingdom.
We're gonna give it up to you, the listener, for the most part. Especially this strongly depends on the type of world setting that you have going on. I think we've already kind of established with Mishra, the lizard folk, kind of a plumage and coloration for our reptilian groups. So I think for this character, I think that might be something that we can look at having like a mixed coloration.
Yeah.
Where like they might have been shifting into their adult color, but didn't finish. So like part of their head, or like there's a line that goes down that like you can't really tell.
Yeah.
Or like they're spotty that way, and I think the horns is a nice touch. So they still have like small growth covering horns, like in between what you would see between a male and a female. So it's hard to tell.
Right. I mean, there's I'm thinking of the Halo books where, the what are they called? The big dudes that are like apes. The brutes.
Oh, the hunters.
The brutes, right? No, not the hunters. Brutes, but the hunters are the pairs. The brutes are like hairy. Yeah. They're in Halo 2 and 3, I think. Yep. In the books, they actually have like a sort of tribal structure, class structure, and so like one of the characters, when he like takes over as chief through like combat, his body like physically changes, like the pheromones he emits changes as a response to that kind of like life event. So you could also play it as like this character hasn't had a life event that would cause them to mature or not. Ooh. You know what I mean? There's lots of ways you can play it.
That's an interesting thought, because it leads us right into our next role, which is age.
Yeah, and I was going to suggest maybe we could actually call back to this when we find out some of the other details. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
So, as typical, we will do our D4, D6 method, where we just multiply them and add to the thing, which is 6, so it's 12. This character is 12 years old.
Okay. So old enough technically to have matured, but this is clearly our youngest character in terms of experience.
By a long shot.
And yeah. just based on age, I kind of want to throw that out there as maybe that's what it is. It's like a physical, like skin patterns or plumage, horns, feathers, what have you, and they have not, for whatever reason, hit their whatever the kobold version of puberty is.
Yeah, like technically it's an adult, but maybe throwing this out here, and we can do this for our town and in our world setting here. While kobolds reach maturity at age 6, until they hit some kind of, so I'm thinking crocodiles in this case, and alligators, as far as how their eggs work and stuff like that for the gender.
Yeah.
But as the starting point of this, but until they hit some kind of certain threshold or a life event, like you said, so maybe going on an adventure, some kind of stress thing where they had to do fight or flight, some kind of combat, they don't shift into either male or female. They're kind of like the clownfish, where depending on the environment, they shift one way or the other. This character hasn't had, in the 6 years that it's been an adult, has led a very peaceful life.
Yeah.
So to say.
Yeah, I mean, there are some societies where like you're not considered a man unless you've completed some kind of trial, or you have you have to like make a kill, a hunting kill, something like that.
Yes.
They haven't done exactly that yet.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and do the alignment and see what kind of how this character rolls, as so to say.
Oh, this ought to be interesting. So alignment is no, it's a 10-sided dice, right?
Yes.
You want to roll it? You want me to roll it?
No, you can roll. I rolled the age. So.
All right. Four.
A 4. That is lawful neutral.
Okay.
Now, which isn't bad at all,
no.
I think, because again, this is a character who is young, follows the pack, probably follows the rules for the tribe, so tradition and dictates like that. So it follows that kind of things. So it doesn't really venture out for its own, but it also doesn't actively try to manipulate those laws. So I think that's a pretty good fit for a juvenile adventurer.
Yeah.
Or now let's shift back a bit and go and do the abilities and see just what kind of adventurer this character is. My cup is too small for this role. I found a little I had a Chinese student a few years ago, and their family gave me a red clay tea set, and I found one of the cups, and it makes a really nice sound, but unfortunately it's not big enough for the 46, so we'll put that aside. I shall start with the strength. Okay. Are you ready, John?
Yeah, I'm ready.
This is going to be the beefiest, buffest kobold you've ever seen in your life.
Let's hope so.
I was joking, but it's pretty good. So we have a 2.
Nice.
A 6, a 5, and a 5.
Oh, so that's a 16.
Plus 16.
Whatever the racial bonuses are.
Well, the racial bonus is a -2, so it's going to be a 14.
Oh, okay.
But that is still a pretty beefy kobold.
Yeah. Okay, hold on, writing something down. All right, so Dex.
Yes.
It's not as good. That is a 13, a 6, a 4, a 3, and a 1.
Well, lucky for you, there's a +2 racial modifier. So, to dexterity. Because they are not a strong race in general, but very agile. Well, this is poo-poo. 5, 5, 2, and 1, so a 12 for Constitution.
That's not bad. That's okay. That's kind of average, right?
Yeah, I mean, for a small character, that seems pretty good.
Intelligence next, right?
Yes.
Okay. Another 13. 6, 4, 3, and 3.
Okay. Ew. This is a 6, 5, a 2, and a 1. So another 13. Lucky number 13 character.
Yeah.
Technically, this is the 12th character, but rolling all 13s.
13 is not low enough to have like a minus, so I feel like once we hit 9, that's when we're sad.
Yeah. 13 is not bad, honestly. It's a +1 modifier.
Yeah. Okay. So the charisma is a 15, a 6, a 5, and a 4, and a 2. So yeah, 15.
Okay. So our final scores are Strength 14, Dexterity 15, Constitution 12, 13 Intelligence, 13 Wisdom, and 15 Charisma. So just looking at this and the type of character, it screams rogue or sorcerer again.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to make a dexterity-based barbarian from this character. Just like he's a little rage machine. Everybody keeps like making fun of him for not being a man yet or anything like that, and like he's just like a bundle of angry because he's so small. Like all those small puppies, like a chihuahua. He's a chihuahua. always just yelling at people and things like that. So that's one of the interesting things about rolling so not bad, but middle of the road, like average on all of the stats, is it's very difficult to choose like what we see this character as being. You know?
Yeah. I'm a fan of rogue. I think I can't think of another class that would actually be better than that.
Mm-hmm. So,
like, we don't have a rogue yet, do we?
No, we don't. But let's look at his background and his potential occupation.
Okay. Yeah.
To figure out where we really feel like this character should be at. So
yeah, that's going to kind of determine whether or not any of our ideas click.
Yeah, and how we do it.
Character.
Yeah. So, John, would you please roll a d20 so we can find out the background? I will roll a d100 after that for the occupation, and we'll combine them. So, you roll first.
Okay, the background.
Yes.
Is a 19, so I need to re-roll, don't I?
We'll loop it back around.
Okay.
So, 18, 19. Charlatan.
Interesting.
And for the occupation, well, that's weird, but okay. Potter.
Okay.
Which,
maybe he's from a tribe of kobolds that make pottery by trade.
Mm-hmm.
But he's given that up to become a charlatan?
Maybe. What I'm thinking is kobolds are a cave-dwelling and communal race, typically.
Mm-hmm.
And while they scavenge, they're also very known for the kobold tricksters, the black shields. They make things. They do. They're industrious and not they don't scavenge as much as some of the other monstrous races do. So they probably do, since they live in they tunnel, they live in the Underdark, they probably do use clay and whatnot as a form of containments. And actually, the goblin engineer, or there's a not goblin engineer, the kobold engineer, there's a trickster version that has like pots of like ooze and acid and things like that. So maybe he's a potter in his communal thing, which again explains why he hasn't matured, because he hasn't had a life event. He's in a neutral role in his society.
Yeah, almost a domestic role.
Yes.
I mean, in some ways, you could maybe say maybe only the alpha male in the clan is the one that actually fully matures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it might be an affront to the alpha male if you show up with like horns and plumage one day and like reeking of male hormones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
You come in all swole, like, ugh.
Yeah.
Another thing. Now, Charlatan, he's always had a way with people. He kind of understands how the big people think and what they're doing. He uses it for his advantage. So maybe he's been more of the face of this kobold tribe with other tribes around. Maybe he's one of the people who has more experience with larger settlements or like outpost things, and he goes in and sells, maybe in the Underdark or what like that. And he sells kobold pottery, authentic, handmade, crafted, best quality, but it's really just like made out of very basic dirt, and it like falls apart after one use.
He's forging the like, maybe there's one clan of that's known for their like the quality of their pottery, and he's just kind of gotten hold of one of their stamps.
Yes, probably.
You know, or the clay he's using is full of air and
pretty much
explodes.
So he goes around to different kobold tribes, peddling like, ooh, this pot holds a elixir of strength.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, but it's actually like a jar of milk.
Yes.
Or
it's like
cottage cheese.
Yes. It's things like that. But that also works because he has a very high charisma, and kind of works with that. So he automatically gets skill proficiencies in deception and sleight of hand. Tool proficiencies in disguise kit and fortune kit. Maybe he disguises himself as a very ugly halfling and goes into like farmsteads and like trades these wonderful, Underdark treasures to these homesteaders, but they're really just like pebbles he found on the road. And
I like it.
Yeah. John, could you roll me a d6 real quick?
Yeah. Let's see here. Two.
Okay, so on the random character quirk generator, this character is prone to finger tapping when stressed, is prone to saying a particular word, and the believes in dragons is true because kobolds worship dragons, so it works very well.
Nice.
So maybe as you roleplay this character, he has a tail, maybe he taps his leg or whatnot like that. So that's something that you can play with too. Like he starts tapping whenever he's getting close to being found out.
Yeah, or he could like click his tongue.
Yeah.
Or his
Yeah.
Does it specifically say tapping their finger?
It does. It says prone to finger tapping when stressed, and prone to saying a particular word.
Interesting. So yeah, I think choose the word.
Yes.
When I hear something like that though, I think of like Naruto.
Yeah.
And his Databayo.
Believe it.
Or believe it. Yeah.
He has a catchphrase. This kobold has a catchphrase. Skin my scales. This is the best pot you're ever gonna buy. Oh man.
Believe it.
So that seems like a lot of fun to do. We don't have to do any languages because he doesn't come with any extra languages, just common and draconic. So now, John, what class, given that he's a charlatan, given that he's prone to saying a catchphrase and finger tapping when stressed, and he's a potter, what class do you think this character is going to be?
It's 100% like rogue.
Yeah, like
rogue. Absolutely. Is there any other class that
fits,
like other than rogue?
Bard potentially as a charlatan.
Oh yeah, I guess bard. Bards are just rogues that
play music.
Don't have stealth. They play music.
Like
someone is going to be upset when they hear me say that.
Please, bards, please don't write any scathing words about us. No, bards are the musically inclined group. Rogues.
At me on Twitter. Yeah. Bards are just rogues that play instruments.
Don't at me, bro. Don't slide in my DMs. Sorcerers are just rogues who cast spells from afar.
Yeah. Depending on your alignment, all classes are just rogues that do a certain thing. You want to get back into the murder hobo thing, which we beat to death last week, so let's not go there.
Yeah. So get your D12 ready. Get your favorite one.
All right. Wait. Okay, here it is. I got it.
Okay, I got a 9.
I got a 7. Please tell me one of us rolled rogue.
We have ranger and sorcerer. Rogue was an 8.
We would.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We complained last episode about having no sorcerers, and now we have 2. One is a
now we have. Yeah, I think we don't think we want ranger. I think I'm agreed with you there, sorcerer.
Yeah, I mean ranger could be okay. As like he's so ranger, because it sounds like he roams by himself a lot. Maybe he has his own little like animal companion, and does a lot of ranged attacks, and finesse weapons, small weapons, things like that. So
but a kobold underground wouldn't do much ranged hunting, right?
I mean, that depends on what you refer to as range. Like they do have bows. They could do javelins. They could do some kind of like addle that way.
Yeah, I guess the caves are going to be pretty big.
Yeah,
the Underdark is pretty big.
Yeah, and it depends on the systems of that. Like, it's not that he can't use melee weapons, because he could. Mm-hmm. He can use finesse weapons and things like that. So that's a possibility. What I'm trying to say is, range is not out of the discussion, but as far as the kobold race goes, they actually have arcane magic users. They don't fear or shun magic. They see it as a part of the connection to dragons. Kobold sorcerers are typically draconic bloodline. So
I think I'm with you on the sorcerer thing.
Yeah.
So not to poo-poo ranger, I think it fits this character a little bit better.
Yeah.
For all of those reasons that you just mentioned.
I think so too.
Now, stats wise, I don't know, because it's charisma, right? Does sorcerer use charisma?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Like I said,
all right.
It fits both ways. Like, this character is in such a position that it could go either way. Unfortunately, this character doesn't really strongly have the ability to multi-class.
Yeah.
John, could you roll a d6 and throw away the 2 because we've already got deception?
Okay. I rolled a 6.
So religion and persuasion are the 2 skill proficiencies that this character has. Now here comes the interesting part. We have 5 choices for the sorcerer's origin. Typically, they're draconic because these are small little dragon descendants. But that could change. Would you like to roll the honors? Or would you like me to surprise you? Okay. Go ahead.
All right. What dice do I want me to roll? 20? D6.
I mean, you can do it. Do it 20. Do 20.
Do a 20?
Yep. And we'll separate it by 5s.
Okay. That works for me. That's an 8.
Draconic bloodline.
Yeah. I think it works.
I'll roll a d10. A brass dragon is the bloodline from this, which is interesting because kobolds typically in D&D 5e and in the Faerun worship chromatic dragons as being near divinity and like demigods. So it's interesting that his ancestry and his expression is that of a metallic dragon.
Yeah. So going back to the discussion about gender presentation, maybe you could factor that in. Like maybe that having the brass dragon in the lineage does something to the genetics that makes it harder for other kobolds to tell what his gender is, or it does something like prevents them from maturing until a later time.
That is
true.
You know
what I mean? They're late bloomers.
It could be. Here's an interesting point. He gets draconic resilience, which means that he has an extra thin sheen of draconic scales that are in the typically the color of the dragon ancestor. So that models him. He has a mixture of brass color throughout his body and his scales, which messes with the presentation.
Yeah, it kind of makes the obscures the skin patterning or the
scent or anything like that. However you want to do your race. Yeah.
I think that's our version of the character. So if you're going to pick this character up, of course, do what you want and talk to your DM about all that. But for us, it is the brass dragon lineage and the coloration of the skin, the sheen on the skin. It makes it difficult for not just humans but other kobolds to determine this character's gender at a glance.
Yeah, and I think it also helps with people recognizing or like accepting this kobold. And we mentioned that he's a charlatan. He goes into small villages and sells pottery and things from the Underdark or into Underdark cities. Having a brass coloration that isn't typical to most kobolds probably sets people more at ease.
Yeah.
Or at least like helps subjugate some of the initial, it's a kobold, drive it out of town.
Makes him a little bit exotic.
Yes.
Right?
So, 5, 26, 27, 28. 28 cantrips. We need to roll 4 of them.
Okay.
So, we'll each roll 2. We'll do the first 2.
Okay, that's a 20 and an 8, I'm assuming.
I have a 15.
That is math, a 22.
22. Oh, that's good. Prestidigitation. You have Prestidigitation. I have Lightning Lure.
Nice.
Prestidigitation is by far, I think, one of the most helpful cantrips you can ever have as a spellcaster.
Yeah.
Right up there with Mage Hand and things like that. Like, it's...
The last campaign I played, the Bard constantly used it to, like, clean up after we had to walk through a swamp.
Yeah, cleaning up your characters, it helps because, like, you have to imagine the adventures are super disgusting in most times, and most adventurers just want a hot bath. And the person who Prestidigitation is like, nope, I'm clean. I don't care. But also, it helps with travel food. It helps with doing small tricks for charlatans and to do things like that. It's just a very handy tool in most cases. Okay, John, one more roll. Ooh, 5.
That is a 21.
Okay, so poison spray and control flames.
Nice.
So this is interesting. Because if I remember correctly, brass dragons like to live near waters. No, it's not, I think it's brass. I don't think it's copper. And they're typically aquatic. But our last sorcerer had control water. So
now we have a firebender.
Yep. Everything was okay until the fire dragon attacked.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 25 first level spells to choose from, and we need 2.
Okay.
So I got my dice, you get your dice, and let's see what spells we're casting. Well, Yahtzee. I got 2 and a 2, so 4.
That is a 6 and a 2, so 8.
Well, that's interesting. Chaos Bolt. Comprehend languages.
Neat. I think that helps with your whole traveling pottery salesman.
I think so too. Thing. Like that's why
pottery swindler.
Yeah.
I mean
yeah. He's the traveling antique show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome.
Like he goes through and like, let me see what kind of pottery you have. Oh, this is an ancient dwarven artifact. Valued at.
Best I can do is $5.
Yeah.
One copper.
No, he doesn't. He charges people to analyze their things.
Oh, that's amazing. That's even better.
And then he just makes bullshit up about it and then moves on to the next town. He doesn't like sell it or offer to do anything like that. He just tells him what he thinks it's valued at and what he thinks it is. And
nice.
Oh man. Yeah, so I think overall I like this character. It's interesting. It's a fun city style character.
Oh yeah.
Like he has a little bit of combat, he has a little bit of utility going on with him.
I can see myself enjoying playing this character.
I like playing small characters, so this would be a great one to play.
It has kind of like a slick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I want to see
even though the character's not a rogue, he's still very roguish.
He's a roguelike. You know what I mean? He's a roguelike game.
Yeah, for real.
I imagine him being, so you see sorcerers like dressed up in like robes and things like that to have, because the cloth wears whatever. I feel like he would be wearing more like the Dapper Dan style things. Like he's wearing like a little suit, like kobold style, and like he has a little button down, like a vest, and
a petticoat.
Yeah. And like he has like he has a couple of rings on his fingers in different positions, and he
like Jiminy Cricket, but a kobold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. and he's like,
maybe not with a top hat, but
no, I see him more with like a baller. A bowler hat, like just to kind of hide the horns a little bit, and he kind of just saunters into town when he never like like he probably keeps it in like a little case. He travels along, and then like when he gets close to a town, he puts on his little suit and he just kind of saunters in. And he sings. Maybe he sings a little song. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just whistles. I don't know if kobolds can whistle.
Yeah.
I
think they can. I think that we just decided this is a Disney movie, and of course, kobolds can whistle.
Of course. So
now we need to choose a name, right? Or do you want to?
So,
do you want to throw in some whimsy here?
Another whimsy? Yeah, we can throw in another whimsy. So let's choose the name and then throw in the last whimsy dice. Because we're doing pretty good. Like, I think this character is doing really well. So kobold names are normally derived from Draconic tongue and usually relate to the characteristic of the character. So
it says here that they're short and sweet.
Yes, pretty much. So it's just a D20. Would you like to go ahead and also kobolds can change their name or add additional word syllables after important events such as completing its first hunt, laying its first egg, or surviving its first battle. So, and then like common translations can change from that. So that's an interesting thing too, is if this character suddenly matures or does something in your battle, you can add a name to it, or we could add a name. So, John, would you roll a d20 and let us find out the name of this character? I love tables. I need more random tables in my life.
All right, so I rolled a 5.
Garu. Garu. Garu.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like it. That is short and sweet.
Yeah. No fancy things here. His name is Garu. Now, I'm going to roll a I'll roll the d6 for the Rimsey.
Let's see it.
And that was a 6, so that would be no whimsy, but we want whimsy.
We want actually whimsy.
We want all the whimsy. This is the interest generator now. So, huh.
Your face is telling me that you see something kind of hilarious.
Your character's interests include cowboys, spunky time travelers, and space exploration.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm not writing that down, but I love it.
It's going on the character sheet, so
yeah.
Do with that what you will.
So you could. How do you even put that in the context of D&D?
Okay, so cowboys, farmsteaders, that's easy enough. Whatever.
Yeah.
Ranchers and things like that. He's infatuated with people who ride horses.
Or maybe he puts on like part of his little traveling show involves like a horse-drawn carriage and then like using an exaggerated Southern accent. Like
he as a charlatan, he has a false identity. He has a second identity. He has a second costume, and he becomes like a very Southern Texas. How y'all
takes off the bowler hat and puts on a 10-gallon cowboy hat.
Yes, and he's like, I'm a different kobold. I don't know about this Garu guy that you keep talking to me about.
He went that way.
Yeah, I saw him run that way. But no, and then spunky time travelers, I think, is just his imagination. Like,
yeah,
he's making it up in his head. Like, he thinks, like, some races live longer than kobolds and they do different things. So he's just making this up in his head as he goes. The space exploration is that he loves the stars, which is interesting because we have a Gith and a lizard folk who both research, and one comes from the stars, one researches the sun.
Yeah, I think if he finds out about the Gith, he's going to see Zodiac and just kind of spy on him all the time.
Yes.
Like all the time spying on the Gith, you know?
Yeah. Like, certainly there's going to be. So there's a batfish woman, a Gith, a lizard folk, and a Triton in this city. Things that a kobold probably has never interacted with. He's going to be very interested, and he's probably going to make up a story about one of the characters. Listeners, if you made it this far, in the comments, either on Podbean or on YouTube, put down which character you think Garu thinks is a spunky time traveler. We want to know who you think. Like, vote for your favorite one, upvote it. This is your chance. But I think that's where he's at right there. I love this character. Like, I like the whimsy dice.
First response we get, we put it on the character sheet. How about that? First person that responds with that.
I think we should give it time, let them kind of vote.
Okay.
Yeah. So whichever comment has the most likes or sub comments onto it is the one that we'll go with.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I really like this character. It's going to be a lot of fun to play. It's going to be quite interesting. It's both got RP elements and combat elements and city elements. This is a character that could fit in a variety of instances.
A lot of settings. Yeah.
So that,
and has utility in terms of combat as well as spells and like just like persuasion skill. Yeah. A charlatan that has persuasion skill, that's useful.
Yes, persuasion, sleight of hand, deception. He's quite good on a lot of things. Religion, so that's a very interesting fact too. Dark vision, pack tactics, so you get advantage on attack rolls if you're close by to help your friends. So yeah, so all in all, a very interesting character. I think I honestly would like to see him. And oh my goodness, we didn't do that, did we? We forgot to do the suggested characteristics. I knew we were forgetting something from the background. Now it's really whimsy time.
Okay.
All the listeners are like already madly typing, "Where's the characteristics?"
Oh yeah.
We added the whimsy dice and forgot about it. Honestly,
my bad.
Okay, so John, roll me 2d8. I'm just gonna have you roll all the dice, and I'm just gonna read it off. We're gonna go bam, bam, bam.
Okay. 2d8.
Yep.
First one is an 8.
Okay.
And the next one is a 6.
Sarcasm and insults are my weapons of choice. I pocket anything I see that might have some value.
Perfect.
It fits so far. Like it
fits so well.
We haven't messed up yet. Roll a d6, please. We're gonna do 3 sets of d6.
Okay, you want me to just do 3 or
choose 3 different colors, 1, 2, and 3. Like you just need to know which order that we're doing it.
Blue is 1, red is 2, black is 3.
Okay.
All right, so first one is 5.
Okay. Friendship. Material goods come and go, but bonds of friendships last forever. Believe it.
Believe it. Say second one is 2.
I owe everything to my mentor, a horrible person who's probably rotting in jail somewhere.
I learned everything from Slick Willie.
I learned it all from Dapper Dan.
Learned it all from Dapper Dan. And the last one is a 4.
I'm too greedy for my own good. I can't resist taking a risk if there's money involved.
Oh my God. That's perfect.
Like
amazing.
None of these contradict anything that we've said about this character so far.
Yeah.
except for maybe the friendship one. But then I don't think this character really had a lot of friends on the go.
Mm-hmm.
But this might be some mentality like, if they're like, man, if I could just get somebody, like when he finds the companionship and makes a bond, he's going to be very strong with that friendship. But he's never had that experience. So
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Yeah. So I really enjoy this character. I like what's at. I like where the identity.
Gary the Swindler. I love it.
Garu the Swindler, and he's gonna come into town. I think he's gonna. I'd like to see like Mishra take like a motherly role over him and like make him settle down. But it'd be very interesting to see which characters he really would bond with. I'm gonna say probably Mishra, but I could also see something like maybe Misty or Cloxus, maybe even Glint.
Yeah.
Taking him under the wing.
But we do have to remember he is still lawful neutral.
Yes.
So this character's not an outright thief, right? Not breaking the law, not stealing from people so much as
he
will pull a fast one. Yeah, a con man who gets away with it because he hasn't broken any laws.
Yeah. He fast talks people.
Just managed to get you to trade your antique watch for a piece of junk pottery that he made yesterday out of mud.
Yeah. He doesn't say like it's a legal transaction by all means. And if he's going around and evaluating your things and like your pottery or whatever, and he just tries his best, he's like, I will analyze this. I will tell you what I think it's valued at. Pay me only 5 silver and I will judge all your things and see if you have anything of value. And he does his best. You can't say, well, he conned me. Well, he told you that he was going to try to evaluate it for you. Like, he could be wrong. And like in his contracts, in the fine print, it just says like all evaluations are subject to change. None of them is guaranteed.
Yeah. All sales are final.
Yeah.
No returns allowed.
Yeah. So I like this character. Now, if you've been listening, you know that the deal. We love you. We thank you for listening. Please stay with us. Please look forward to the next episode. Don't forget, leaving a like, a subscribe, and a share on whichever site that you are listening to us from is a big help. It helps get the word out for the podcast, gets more listeners. It shows up on our things to show that you've been listening.
Word of mouth is how this stuff, how we promote the show.
Pretty much.
So share it on Facebook with your friends, in your Facebook groups.
Yes.
On your Twitter feed.
And then we'd
greatly appreciate it.
Especially on YouTube, the algorithm, I know you hear a lot of YouTube commenters say this, but likes and subscribes help drive the videos and the content. So we really appreciate that. You can find both me and John on our different social media platforms. Mine is Raging Cajun Studio. It houses all of my content. Just search for me there. On Twitter, though, it's at @dmokun _Takun. But yes, and you can find John.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Johnicus with a 0 instead of an O.
And if you would like to help support and get character sheets, get additional podcasts or episodes or content, you can support us on Patreon, just like Sarah, just like Stefan. Come and visit our town, and we hope to see you on the next one.
Peace.